Chapter 5, Introduction. In order to make it easier to follow the complicated discussions of this chapter, we offer the following introduction. When a Yavam performs Yibum, i.e. cohabits, with one of his brother's widows, she becomes his wife, and all her co-wives are released and free to marry others. The Yibum erases the bond between the widows and all the brothers. Similarly, when a Yavam performs Chalitza with one of his brother's widows, the Yibum bond between all the brothers and all the widows is removed, as we learned in Chapter 4, Mishnah 11. In both of these cases, only the brother who actually performed the Yibum or Chalitza is forbidden to marry the relatives of the widow with whom he performed Yibum or Chalitza. The other brothers are permitted to her relatives. And even the one who performed the Yibum or Chalitza is allowed to marry the relatives of the other widows, as we learned in Chapter 4, Mishnah 7. Under biblical law, there is only one way to remove a Yibum bond without marrying the widow: Chalitza. If a Yavam gives a Yevama a standard bill of divorce, get, it is meaningless on the biblical level, and she still needs Chalitza to be free to marry others. However, the rabbis decreed that a get removes part of the Yibum bond, and that a get should be treated like Chalitza in regard to any prohibitions that result from Chalitza. Therefore, if a Yavam gives a get to one widow, all the other widows' co-wives are forbidden to him for Yibum as if he had performed Chalitza with her, and he is forbidden to marry the close relatives of the woman to whom he gave the get. Similarly, biblical law provides only one way to marry a Yevama: cohabitation. Once this is done, the Yibum bond between all the brothers and all the widows is erased and replaced with a marriage bond between the Yavam and Yevama, as we learned in Chapter 4, Mishnah 4. The Yavam himself is biblically forbidden to marry the relatives of the woman with whom he performed Yibum, since she is now his full wife. But even he is allowed to marry the relatives of the other widows. The rabbis, however, instituted that the Yavam should perform an act of kedushin, betrothal, before cohabitating with her. The act of kedushin of a Yevama is known as mamar. After mamar, there is a rabbinic marriage bond between the Yavam and the Yevama, and the rabbis decreed that it should be treated like Yibum in regard to any prohibitions that result from Yibum. Therefore, if a Yavam performs mamar with one of the widows, he is forbidden to perform Yibum with any of the other widows, as if he had performed Yibum with the first one, and he becomes forbidden to her relatives. A get is also needed to end the mamar marriage. On a biblical level, however, the Yibum bond remains in place, so even after she receives the get, she will still need Chalitza to be free to marry others. Thus, there are 4 actions that could be taken by a Yavam that affect the status of the widow: giving a get, performing Chalitza, making Ma'amar, and cohabiting, performing Yibum. 2 of them are biblical, cohabiting, Chalitza, and 2 are rabbinic, get, Ma'amar.